Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, like that beautiful sun, seekers and sojourners of truth, the 144, the chosen of the chosen of the chosen few. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Akila Textry, reporting to you live from the 5D consciousness in this divine energy essence of it all. I am in an beautiful spirit, a beautiful mode of respiriting, right? As this is the day, happy sunrise day, this day that they call the Christmas, but I call Christ Mas, right? And in Spanish, Mas means more. And y'all know all of these words come from Latin, so eventually it obviously means more, right? More of Christ, Christ Mas. So what does that mean? Rising in your Christ consciousness. More Christ is you rising in your Christ consciousness. So for those who have been with me as I've been speaking about this respiriting, these 3 days from the winter solstice till now, this is the nativity scene. This is the true nativity scene. Nativity, I call it respiritivity because we are respiriting. This entire season, winter season, is a respiriting season. These days from the 21st to the 25th, when the sun rises, as our ancient ones have taught us, the sun dies on that day, the 21st, the winter solstice, and rises again on the 25th in the constellation of the Virgin constellation, which is the Virgo constellation, which is what they call Bethlehem. Right? So I just want to share this with us so we can be in this together. We can Christ more together, right? This is especially for those chosen of the chosen few, those who are in higher consciousness and those who are leaving the illusions. We're breaking the illusions of these old stories, and we are finding our route. We're finding the truth. And the more you do your soul ascension is the more you have your DNA activation process going on, and you tap into your blood. You tap into your ancient ones that are in your blood who will guide you as they are guiding me. Yours too will and shall guide you the more you step into that. And this process is definitely one that is of soul ascension. This process of the respiriting, death to rebirth, putting down the ego, which is what I've explained before. If you haven't seen the video before that, the winter solstice video or the 3 stages of darkness video, where I'm actually going into details what's happening in those 3 days that we are in the stillness. If you haven't gotten a chance, go ahead. I'll see if I can drop that link below, as they said, but not try, because tries are for liars. Do check it out if you get a chance. Right, so just to kind of recap some of that in case you haven't seen it, it's really speaking about this winter solstice that happens, which, as I explained, our ancient ones have given us the blueprint to that. The sun dying, representing the sun, your conscious phase of mind. That is the sun, S-O-N, sun, S-U-N, sun, right? Really, they're talking about S-U-N, but as we know, the sun doesn't literally die, right? So there is an explanation. There is an esoteric, metaphysical meaning to that, obviously, as our ancient ones tends to guide us with. So it is about the sun in you dying. What is that sun? That is the conscious phase of mind, which is the ego, the will to do. That misappropriated ego that's been running amok, that monkey mind, that deceptive mind, all of that, whether you notice the deceptions or not. But here is your opportunity. Here is your chance every year to be reborn under the sun of the wise ego, that sun that is reborn, as they call the birth of Christ, which Christ is just a title. It's not his last name, as most of us know by now, which means enlightened one, like the Buddha, right? So we're talking about that Christ consciousness. So that is what is born onto us, right? We being reborn in that Christ consciousness. So that's what's happened. That's what we're celebrating on the 25th, not a birth of someone whom they call Jesus the man, whom they don't even know what day he was really born in. Nowhere in the Bible does it say he's born on the 25th. So we must understand then that this is for a rebirth of us. And I invite us to look up that word nativity, because this, in a sense, this entire 3 days is a nativity scene. Nativity meaning a birthing process. a natal, it has two meanings. It even speaks of a horoscope, as they say, horoscope, beginning or birth, which is your natal chart. This is me speaking to the cosmos in us. This is also us being guided by the cosmos to get to the cosmos in us, the universe that is in us, the divine that is in us, right? So the nativity scene is about our native birth, us being born, reborn. So I have called it respiritivity, and as I said it, as I was writing it out, I could hear nativity, nativity. And of course I had to look up the etymology, like, where does this word derive from? And when you see the meaning, it makes perfect sense. Even in their writing, they are admitting that it is everyone's birth. In one of their meanings, they even stated that it is everyone's birth, which it is. I couldn't have said it better myself. It is everyone's rebirth. It is not about one person that they called Jesus, but it is about the Christ consciousness in us that is being reborn, right? We walk around all year with our egos, doing what it does, our conscious phase of mind doing what it does. And now it's time in this season of respirit to put it down. Okay, so there are 12 months in a year, and 9 months are operative, what I call the operative months. The last 3 months are respiriting months. Why do I say that? 9 represents completion. In numerology, you will see that repeated, very repetitive. 1 through 9. 1 through 9 is a cycle, and over again. So that means that 1 through 9 is the cycle, the full 9 months of completion of us operating in a certain way, right? And then on the last 3 months, it is a respiriting. It is time to respirit your soul, rest, respite. And in that rest and in that darkness, you shall gain your wisdom so that you can rise again in your wise ego, right? It's almost like a recharge, reboot, reset, respirit, happy sunrise. That is what the day is all about. And this is what I bring to you and share to you, especially that information about the nativity. Right? Respiritivity. I'm getting excited just talking about it. The respiritivity into your nativity, your nativity scene, this is the scene from the 21st to the 25th is your nativity scene. And if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can go as far back as the 12-12 portal. The 12-12 portal leading up to the 21st, which those are 9 days between. 9, again, another completion. So even that is like a labor. It's like a birthing process, and you're laboring through the birth canal from the 12-12 to the 12-21. And then on the 12-21, here you go. You come out. You come out of that birthing process. You come out of that womb, but you're born into the darkness. You're born into the death, a stillbirth, to be reborn on the 25th, if that makes sense. And I explained that already, so I don't want to go too deep into that. What I will do right now is share. Okay, bird. There go my bird backing me up. All right. What I will do is share, as I always do, the download that I got for that day. This one is a kind of short one, so I'm going to just share that with you. It says that this day we rise in our true wisdom. And this is celebrating this day. What's happening on this day? What's happening? What do we get out of this, right? So this day we rise in our true wisdom, which is birth from the darkness we traverse to gain access to our divinity through the ego death respiritivity that allows the stillness to cultivate and culture true authentic understanding, to clarify insight, to unlock the intuition. These are the 3 gifts that the wise men, the quote-unquote wise men, bring for the birth of the sun, S-O-N-S-U-N, sun, which is the rebirth or respirit of the respirit, or of the spirit, actually, is the rebirth or the respirit of spirit/soul, right, which is within us, that rises as the wise ego. So let me say that again. These wise men, right? These 3 wise men. That was another download I got out of this. Y'all, since I did this, I must say I've gotten so many downloads. The information just keeps pouring in, because it's almost like you clear out so much of your ego. You're in such a receptive mode that you just open your crown. Everything is like you open, and it's just pouring through. The intuition, everything is just pouring through. My intuition is I don't think it's ever been this wide open. So much is just coming. And for the first time, I saw the three wise men, as I just pointed out to you. These are the three gifts. What are those three gifts? Understanding, and I break it down into three stages of darkness in that video, but understanding, insight, and intuition, those are the three gifts that bring us the wisdom. Those are the three things that we practice that brings us the wisdom, which are the gifts of wisdom. So hence when it says in the story, the three wise men that came and each brought a gift, right? Because all of this is inclusive of wisdom. You cannot have wisdom without these three gifts. So these three gifts come to bring you that wisdom. On the third day, you rise in your wisdom. So I found that was one of the beautiful insights to me, right? So all of this, like I said, this is the three wise men that bring those gifts. That's when they bring it for the birth of the son. Hey, here, you're being reborn. Here's your gifts. But really, you worked those gifts for you to now see those gifts through the light of wisdom, right? Which means now you can use it anytime after this. So it feels like a gift. Here's the thing. You were working this in the process. And then at the end of this, when it all comes out, the wise man brings it, your wisdom brings it into conscious awareness. So now you can have the wisdom to utilize these gifts at any time, right? But keep in mind, you are using them to get to your wisdom in the first place, just by going into that really dark place and being in a receptive mode, right? So this is for the birth of the son, which is the rebirth or the respirit of our spirit and soul. Within that rises the wise ego. This is where Heru, and this is where where I parallel it to our Ancient One story. This is where Heru has killed Set to raise Asar through the birth from Set. Let me say that again. This is where Heru has killed Set to raise Asar through the birth from Set, because Set had to give birth to Heru, right? Once the feminine energy submits or brings the darkness, she is submissive in listening and adhering to the stillness that remembers spirit, puts spirit back together, like Set had to put the dismembered parts of Asar back together. So think about that. Remembers spirit, not just remembering in the mind, but remember as in put it back together, reconnect, reconnect to spirit, right? That remembers spirits as she releases her wisdom, the greatest gift that respirits the soul. The greatest gift that is respiriting the soul is the wisdom. What we get out of this, what we gain out of this ultimately is the wisdom. It's nothing greater than that. That's why Solomon, all he asked for was wisdom. That is a true value. And this is what we get on this day out of this season. And it's not just now. This nativity season is extremely important. It's profound and it's really important in how we traverse, how we go through the rest of this season. Look at it like the introduction. The nativity scene itself, which is from the 21st to the 25th, is a very powerful move to make in respiriting your soul. And just doing that strictly for 3 days, quieting the mind and being completely receptive, will open you to your wisdom. And then it is for you to utilize that throughout the entire season. Don't just put it away after the 25th. Utilize it through the entire winter season. It is a winter season. It's a respirit season. So expand your respirativity scene, your nativity scene for all 3 months. Meaning from the point of winter solstice all the way through to spring, because that is the true winter season. This is the true last 3 months of the year, right? So hint, hint, note to self, the year is not over. Do not get engulfed in those, activities of, Happy New Year when the year is not, over. That kind of throws us all off. We have this rebirth, and then we get thrown into these other distracting activities. We want to stay in a spirit of respite so that it can carry you through the season, if that makes sense. Ready to bring forth something new in the following year at spring, right? So this is what I share with you. From my heart to yours. It's a beautiful sunrise. This is what I celebrate now for the past 2 years strictly, putting that ego to death. So the nativity, the respirativity, is a practice of ego death, of putting that ego down so that it can rise again. Don't worry, when you kill it, it won't die forever. You're not killing your entire ego. You're killing the set. You're killing the misappropriated ego. You're putting all of that down so that you can rise in your asar. Your wise ego, your Christ consciousness is risen. That is the Christ that is reborn in you. And that is what you hold dear and true. And so it is. So rise in your wisdom. Rise in all three gifts that was given to you. Understanding, insight, intuition. Let it bring you the outpouring or the inpouring of all the wise in your dome that you can take in. And be that risen light, that risen sun, S-U-N or S-O-N, Christ consciousness within. And with that said, I greet you all in love and light. As I said before, each one reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out and be the candle that lights the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Peace, love, and light.